The last supporting energy of the evening is this sacred silence, becoming the listener with the capital L. The question, how much have we missed because our spirit did not have the space or the quote, wild quiet in which to speak to our soul? And I know for me, I was like, probably a lot because, life is distracting. And so how much has our spirit, wanted to offer us, but simply did not have the space or the silence, the quiet to speak to us in this soulful way? And the question, what could we be aware of if we took the time to be still and silent? The whole world can be heard in a moment. And now is the time to have this powerful exchange, this holiness with the universe, to listen, to truly understand what it is that we are hearing. This is listening with the entire being, not just our ears. Our senses are the soul's messengers, and they will be electrified over the next few weeks. This is a portal of inception as we are birthing a new paradigm, and seeds are brought to flower. Simultaneously, humanity will experience a run on its sovereign freedom under God. The United States Constitution is a living document and is recognized as holy. Why? Our rights are granted by the Creator and not the powers that were, or from any man-made institution. And through the disillusion of what was, all will join with the frequency of freedom. Once again, the lyrics, I hear the storm is coming in. These are new lightning fast energetic codes which are streaming onto the planet as measures increase from the low frequency beings to enslave the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual bodies of humanity. Listening with the whole being is absolutely essential at this time, as we cannot believe what we simply hear or see. This is a play of light and shadow to the highest degree. Dark magic is afoot, along with a quest for the revelation of the light and a new paradigm of peace for humanity. Ignore the talking, which takes up space and drowns out the messages of truth. Do not make so much noise that we drown out what the silence seeks to tell us. The messages will come in sweet, subtle, magical, spontaneous, joyous, and uplifting ways through amusement, awe, and delight. But we must remove ourselves from the hustle and bustle and from built up urban congestion. Get out in nature, preferably by water. And I had written here hot yang because Tom and I had been joking over the last, couple of weeks that it's getting so yangy on the planet right now that, if you're someone who really indulges in the yin part of life, you're really having to do a lot of going to the river. So there we are. There she is. So we're encouraged to find a still space of solitude and to seek the counsel of spirit, especially in nature. When the soul speaks, listen and come into alignment and act from the space of integrity. This is the time for peace and quiet. And Spirit mentioned here that we may have increased sensitivity to noise or finding it hard to contemplate or think about what needs to be happening. So that kind of haziness or that confused state of being, where it's difficult to decide what our best course of action is due to this either interruption or an interference. And Spirit said, or these constant demands and distractions, this energy of one thing after another, which is demanding our time and attention. And if we do not kind of step back from that hustle and bustle, we're going to feel this intensity and electricity at a level that is going to be uncomfortable and overwhelming, rather than where we create space for it and it feels like joy and pleasure and vibrant life force. So we're encouraged to take mini soul excursions throughout the day. And Spirit was like, sit in the closet, sit in the car, like whatever you have to do to make your little mini soul excursion happen. Listen to soothing music and really surrounding ourselves with natural sounds, because there's this feeling that all of the senses are going to be overwhelmed, but particularly the clairaudience, particularly what's coming through our ears and is really connected to our nervous system. So getting out in nature, but around water specifically coming through. And if you can get out in the morning or the evening, when it's a little bit darker, that is coming through as well. Just because the light of the sun, coming through in, mid-afternoon right now, it may be overwhelming even to some people's senses as we move through this next energetic phase. So to end tonight, the light transmission from spirit it's electric. And this feeling that we can either, boogie, woogie, woogie through this in a really beautiful way, or we have this opportunity to kind of really be taken out by this and in a very uncomfortable and overwhelming way. And that it's an acceleration, it's very fast moving. And if you imagine, being in a river that's really fast moving, if you're in a sturdy kayak and you know what you're doing and you've got all the right equipment, that's going to be the ride of your life. But if you're out there without a life jacket, that's sudden death. And so there really is this choice of this feeling of survival meltdown, of really buying into some narratives that are being served up on a platter that are really strategic and actually organized to lead us into conflict, or instead to be like, wow, like this is an attempt to divide and separate. And so I'm going to take a step back and keep my life simple and really beautiful and really connected to what is. This person-to-person economy, which is really the manifestation on the physical level of the fifth dimensional frequency, where on the other side, if we wanted to manifest a unicorn, we thought unicorn and there it was, and that got very, very boring. And so we jumped into these physical forms to be able to say unicorn, and maybe wait 20 years for that to show up in some way, like this feeling that time creates this buffer that allows us to forget that we are creators. But as we move into the fifth dimension where there is no time, the eternal now, we think about what we want, and then someone shows up in our life, could be total stranger, could be, someone that, is in our family, but they just happen to bring us that thing that we were thinking about. Like, oh, I don't even know why I brought this. I just, thought of you and here it was. That's how 5D works. You're not just solo. You are actually engaged in a connection at the same time that you are receiving your manifestation. And so it's a really beautiful and dynamic way to live. It makes every stranger a friend, and sometimes every friend a stranger, because you get to experience so many different aspects of yourself with these mirrors, these partners, as you go through this evolution. And we're not able to do this alone. We have to be together in order to create this next paradigm. And it's really actually already created. We're walking toward it, but we chose to know it. We chose to understand it, and we chose to play a part in it and to, be the leaders of it. And so even though these last grasps of power are occurring from beings that may not have humanity's best interest in mind, we do. And ultimately, it's the people who change the course of events and allow us to return to our original connection with our creator, to no longer have this interference that prevents us from knowing the fullness of our human potential, and to remember not only who we are individually, but who we are together and with each other.